In today's episode, I'm going to share a little more personal background because my life was shaped by a lot of events, and what I've learned is that life is not about finally making it and being a big hitter, but about how many hits you can take and keep going. Sometimes you have to let go of who you've been in order to become the person you've meant to be, because who we've been isn't getting us the results we want for the dream we have for our life. And sometimes life takes everything away from you, and you just have to figure out how to make it through, because the comeback is always greater than the setback. My parents and I came to the United States right at the end of the Vietnam War. Me and my family came to this country with only the clothes on our back and the will to survive. Growing up, I watched my parents work extremely hard when they were trying to get a footing in our new American life. My mom's first job in this country was at McDonald's. They didn't have any extra money for a babysitter or daycare, so my parents decided that one would work in the day and one would work at night, so that someone would always be home to take care of me. My parents were like the sun and the moon, hardly ever seeing each other. And I think seeing how hard they worked really affected me, because even though I know they love me very much, in some ways I felt like a burden. And like, if they didn't have to take care of me, they wouldn't have to work so hard. By the time I was a senior in high school, my parents had split because the burden was just so hard. And my mom was now a single mom, and I decided to get a job in retail because I saw how hard she was struggling all over again for the second time in her life. I managed to put myself through college by working part-time and qualifying for state and federal grants based on low income and high grades. I never used my degree to pursue a specific career, and for the next 15 years, my life ended up floating around from job to job. Now, 15 years is a long time to work at a job and not have anything to show for it. So when the housing bubble started to heat up, I saw it as an opportunity to get into a house, and everything seemed to be fine for a while. But we all know how that story ended. After 2 years of living in my dream home, it went into foreclosure. I did everything I could to work with the bank to save my home, but in the end, I lost my house to the bank, and I had to put all my belongings in storage, and then I found a room to rent. At the same time, I happened to be working at a company in the real estate industry, and a couple months after I lost my house, I was also laid off. Double whammy. I didn't see it then, but it turned out that losing my house and getting laid off might have been the best thing that could have ever happened to me. It was a hard reboot, and it took me a while to recover, but eventually I ended up in New York working at another 9-to-5 and just making enough to live and wondering what next. By now, I had learned some hard lessons. I went to a decent college and I got a degree, but the best a formal education ever got me was a 9-to-5 job. And as long as I worked for someone else, that job could be taken away from me at any time for any reason beyond my control. I was beginning to realize that true power and wealth can never be taken away. True power is not about looks or money or fame or having possessions like a house. True wealth and power come from within. Having the will and confidence to make decisions and take actions for a better life, no matter how far down or how many times you've fallen, is true wealth and power. The life I was living in New York was not resonating with my true being. I wanted to work from home and have time and money to travel and explore the world, but more than that, I wanted a real purpose and meaning. I had a vision for what I wanted in my life. I knew what I wanted to look like, but I just didn't know how to get there. So I just started trying different things out of desperation, looking for a way to something more. I started a little blog about longevity and life extension. It soon turned into a website selling products. I was hardly getting any traffic to my website, and I was definitely not making any money. So I listed my skincare products on Amazon, and nothing happened. After a couple of weeks of zero sales, one night I looked at all that packaging and bottles and thought, you know what, let me just put that on Amazon and see what happens, because it couldn't be worse than this. And then within a couple of weeks, I had my first sale. My first sale on Amazon was an accident. Fast forward through many unglamorous hours of making product listings and packing and shipping product to Amazon, and my little business was starting to take off. By my second spring of selling on Amazon, I was making almost $30,000 a month in sales. I was on a really great trajectory, and my business was humming along nicely. Then, one day, a couple months later, my brother called me to tell me our mom was in the hospital. She had 4th-stage cancer, and things weren't looking good. I spent a week packing up my business and my life, and I moved back to California to help my brother care for my mom and spend as much time as possible with her. We talked to the doctors hoping for a miracle, and eventually we moved my mom from the hospital to hospice care in her apartment. After 3 precious weeks, she died as she had wished, in her home with her family at her side. It was because I had an Amazon business that I could pack up and move from New York to California within a week. It was because I had an Amazon business that I could spend every possible moment with my mom until she died. And it was because I had an Amazon business that I was still able to have money coming in even though I stopped working for over 4 straight weeks. It was because of my Amazon business that I was able to pay and front the money for my mom's funeral arrangements after she died. So I'll never go back to having a 9-to-5 job working for someone else. Having a successful Amazon business transformed my life by having more time and more money, but most importantly, now I have sovereignty over my life, living the life I want, supporting the ones I love when they need it most, and facing life's challenges with strength and resilience. Now what's most inspiring and emotionally profitable for me is to inspire the next generation of Amazon sellers. Welcome to the Amazon family. This will be the most rewarding experience of your life. Thanks for watching.